Starting us off at number 10, Lena Dunham. I think the majority of us follow celebrities on social media because we're invested in their everyday lives. I mean, that's kind of the point of social media. Fans want to be able to interact with their favorite stars on a real level, even if most celebrities will probably never notice you, unfortunately. Well, actress Lena Dunham really took the personal level of social media a little too seriously and a little too far. In 2015, Lena shared a picture to her Instagram of her at the gynecologist. The picture shows Lena with her legs in stirrups and a paper gown over her lap. Now, I'm all for women's health and female empowerment, like, do not be ashamed of your bodies, people. However, I have to say that this picture may have gone a little tiny bit too far. Like, thanks for sharing, Lena, but we didn't need to know. Like, thank you for sharing this whack-ass photo. I'm not funny. I am so not funny. Like, it's one thing to tweet, I'm at the gyno, hee hee, but like it's another to share a pic of you at the doctor's waiting for him with your legs up, you know? Lena captured the photo saying, living young and wild and free. There's just something about having that quote accompany the fact that her nether regions are exposed under that sheet that make me chuckle a little bit. I'm 12, okay? Please forgive me. Either way, the photo just went a little too far because, like, TMI, but thanks for sharing with the class, Lena. Coming in at number 9, Jared Leto. Jared Leto has gone method a few times throughout his acting career. From Requiem for a Dream to Dallas Buyers Club, Jared has really done his best to get into character. But things went from 0 to 100 real quick on the set of Suicide Squad as Jared once again went method, this time to portray the Joker. Now see, when you're method acting, you really become the character. So it's one thing to become a like in Requiem for a Dream, or to become a transgender AIDS patient like in Dallas Buyers Club, but when you become a murderous psycho clown, things escalate quickly. While filming Suicide Squad, Jared stayed in character the whole time, and I mean the whole time. He never came out of character, even just to talk to the cast and crew. He played pranks on his castmates as the Joker would. He was known to have sent Margot Robbie a love letter in a box with a live rat, he sent Will Smith an envelope full of bullets, and he sent everyone on set a collection of adult paraphernalia, if you know what I mean. If you don't, Google it, I guess. And if that wasn't going too far, he also hired someone to drop off a dead pig to his castmates. Apparently, as a result of Jared's antics, the film's director had to hire a psychiatrist for the set, though we don't know if that was for the cast's benefit or just for Jared. My guy went too far and then kept on going. At number 8, Laughlin and Felicity Huffman. I understand wanting to be a good parent. I mean, you always want the best for your children. I don't have a child, but I do have a dog, and he's my baby, and I'll do anything to make him happy. So I'm guessing that this is the same mentality that Laughlin and Felicity Huffman had when they engaged in bribery in order to get their kids into college. These two were caught in quite the scandal when it was discovered that they had paid thousands of dollars in bribe money in order to get their kids into high-ranking universities. I'm guessing that their kids didn't have the grades to get in on their own, since they decided to take it upon themselves to get their kids into school. I'm saying that they went too far simply because there was absolutely no need for them to rig SAT scores or pay off the admissions office to get their kids a good education. I mean, these people are rich, so as long as they had the money to pay tuition for whatever school their kid got into, that's what matters anyway. Besides, college is unnecessarily expensive, and you don't always get to use the degree you paid for in the end. I mean, look at me. I went to culinary school and now I talk about celebrities on the internet. I could have saved a lot of money if I had known this is the job I'd have. But yeah, just don't bribe people. It's so unnecessary. In at 7, Adrien Brody. Another actor who took things too far when method acting is Adrien Brody. This guy is an insanely talented actor, but when you think about the lengths he's gone to in order to get into character, you've got to give him some props, because what he did in order to prepare for his role in The Pianist is so crazy. For his role as Vladislav Spilman in The Pianist, Adrien lost 30 pounds and actually learned how to play the piano just like the man he was portraying. But this was the more tame side of his method acting. Adrien wanted to have the same sort of feeling that Vladislav had during the Holocaust, being alone and lost, so he forced himself out of the comfortable life he knew. Adrien sold his car, gave up his apartment, and disconnected his phone. He packed himself 2 bags and his keyboard and moved to Europe. I know this was all for the role, but he may have gone a little too far here. He basically just dropped his life and jeopardized his personal relationships in order to get into character. Though I applaud his dedication, and it sure did pay off as he ended up winning the Academy Award for Best Best Actor in 2003. He really pushed himself past the limit for his work. At number 6, Kanye West. I'm sure we all remember that infamous Kanye moment at the VMAs when Taylor Swift won her award and Kanye marched up on stage to steal her thunder. Kanye got up on stage to proclaim that Beyonce's music video was better even though he really didn't have to. You didn't have to. My guy went too far on this one. Like, yeah, sure, tweet about it after the award show is over, but don't march up on stage while Taylor is actively accepting her award. That's just not cool, man. This moment sparked a decade-long feud with Taylor and apparently even prompted Kanye to live in isolation for a while. In an interview on The Ellen Show, Kanye talked about how he was so embarrassed after this moment and how he went into isolation after receiving all the backlash, saying, quote, "I literally left America, I stopped doing music altogether, I just took some time," end quote. Again, this moment was so unnecessary and he went too far with this one. I know he's an outspoken dude, but he could have just waited another 30 seconds until after she was done accepting her award to say something. But I don't know, I guess that's just Kanye for ya. Halfway through at number 5, Angelina Jolie. When you truly love someone, your significant other becomes part of you. But it seems like Angelina Jolie took this idea a little bit too far. During her marriage to Billy Bob Thornton, the two were away from each other a lot. She would be away filming movies and so would he. Well, it seems that in an effort to remedy the fact that they were away from each other so much, Angelina had the idea to wear a vial of her husband's blood around her neck. Yes, you heard that right. Turns out Angelina came home one day with one of those kits where you have a tiny locket on a necklace that you can put a relative's ashes or something in. She told her husband that she thought it would be romantic if they had a piece of each other with them at all times. It's a cute sentiment in theory, but I don't know, blood makes me a little uneasy, so the idea of wearing it around your neck at all times is going a little bit too far for me. At number 4, Azealia Banks. Azealia Banks has gone too far on many occasions, mostly on social media. She's had something to say about a lot of people, from Nicki Minaj to Cardi B to Beyonce and most notably Zayn Malik. Azealia has had some serious Twitter beefs before, but her whole ordeal with Zayn Malik has to take the cake. She went way too far with this one. Basically, it all started when she tweeted at Zayn accusing him of stealing her work. Zayn replied saying that she was really reaching and that he wasn't going to entertain her in this affair. This didn't sit well with Azealia one bit. Now, she easily could have just let this go, but then that wouldn't be in true Azealia fashion, now would it? Instead, she clapped back hard with a rant insulting Zayn's ethnicity. She said, and I quote, "USA is gonna teach you who not to F with, and when your entire extended family has been obliterated by the good old US of A, will you still be trying to act like a white boy pretending to be black?" She also went on to say some more offensive things that I'd rather not repeat. This whole thing could have just stopped after Zayn's reply to her initial tweet, but she just had to go too far on this one. She did. Coming in at number 3, Vin Diesel. Sometimes interviews can get a little weird, and I think this is the case with Vin Diesel during an interview where he was promoting a new film back in 2016. During the interview, he was asked to say some "I am Groot" lines in Portuguese, as they were in Brazil for the interview, and as the woman interviewing him coached him through the pronunciation of the phrase, Vin, I guess, was just overtaken by her presence and just lost all sense. While trying to say "I am Groot" in Portuguese, he instead proclaimed that he was in love with the woman interviewing him. He went on to comment about her beauty and say how she was so sexy and that he couldn't do this interview anymore because she was just too beautiful. And as if that wasn't going too far, he then proceeded to kind of crawl towards her as if he was in a trance. Very creepy. Now, even though he addressed this interview saying that it was all jokes and that he didn't mean to make the woman uncomfortable, it was still something else. I think his joke went a little too far and just came across as creepy instead. If you want to Google this interview, I recommend it if you're in for some cringe, because oh my god. Oh, that was something else. At number 2, Justin Bieber. Right now, Justin Bieber is a chill dude. He's married now and seems to be focusing more on himself and his marriage. But I'm sure we can all remember a time when Justin was a little too wild and took things too far. Like, remember back in 2013 and 2014 when he attacked paparazzi and peed in a mop bucket? Or how about that other time when he visited the Anne Frank house? You know, the cultural landmark that reminds us of the horrors of World War II? And Justin said that he hoped Anne would have been a believer. Right. Or how about that other time he punched a fan because they were in his personal space? Do I need to say more, or have I painted the picture? Basically, there were some times in Justin's past where he did some pretty questionable things or said things that were uncalled for and just really went that extra mile to offend people. From egging people's houses to graffitiing Brazilian heritage sites, Justin really went too far back then. My guess is that he was just acting out, as many child stars often do, but at least he's calmed down since then. Finally, in at number 1, Sylvester Stallone. This one has to be the biggest instance of method acting going too far. While filming Rocky IV, Sylvester Stallone and co-star Dolph Lundgren were really out here trying to make their fight scene look as realistic as possible. I think they might have gone a little too far here. Not just a little, a lot too far. I'm gonna chalk this one up to adrenaline because I don't think any calm person would do this. Stallone wanted the final fight to be really intense, so he instructed his co-star to actually try and knock him out for real. Well, he did. One punch to the chest and Sylvester was out. He was so badly hurt that he had to be flown back to the US for emergency treatment. Apparently, Dolph had punched Sylvester's chest so hard that his heart actually hit his ribcage super hard and began to swell up. His heart rate soared to 260 BPS and he ended up staying in the ICU for 5 days. Could you imagine getting punched so hard in your chest that your heart bangs up against your ribcage? Jeez, that's like entering Mortal Kombat finisher territory there. At number 10, Halle Berry. Halle Berry has proven herself to be an amazing actress. Over the years, she starred in hit films like Catwoman and X-Men, among others, but she's been going all out for her roles since the very beginning. Halle made her debut in acting in the 1991 film Jungle Fever, where she starred alongside Sam L. Jackson and Spike Lee, playing a She reportedly begged for the role, and when she got it, she wanted to give it her all for this performance. Since she was playing a she wanted to get into character without having to use any substances, so she found other pretty extreme ways of getting into character. One thing that she did is she accompanied an undercover police officer and went into a quote-unquote den. Wearing a bulletproof vest, she tried to blend in and learn the behaviors of those in the area. But this isn't all she did to prepare for the role. Halle also took it upon herself to not bathe for the entire filming process. So for 8 weeks, she remained unbathed, and apparently, according to those on set, she really stunk up the place. But hey, it's all for the art. At number 9, Katy Perry. Out of all of the weird collections I've heard of, Katy Perry's is by far the weirdest. Apparently, back in the day, Katy used to carry around locks of people's hair in her purse. And not just any people, mind you. Oh no. She had some locks of hair from Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift. Katy told sources, quote, "One of the first times I went to the Grammys, I got to share a dressing room with Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift. And I asked them for a lock of their hair from each one of them, which is totally creepy, but awesome," end quote. It doesn't stop there though. Oh no. Apparently, Katy used to put little bows on these locks of hair as well. No one really knows why she had them and why Miley and Taylor just let her carry their hair around, but luckily that phase is over, as Katy has said that her purse is now, quote, "big and empty." Still a very weird way to make friends and definitely going too far. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, please consider leaving a like on the video. It really helps us support the channel and we love seeing your support. At number 8, Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson used to be all about wrestling, but in recent years he's proven to be quite an amazing actor. From Jumanji to the Fast and Furious films, Dwayne knows how to captivate an audience, but one film that proved that he will go all out for his craft comes from the 2014 film Hercules. Dwayne plays the demigod Hercules in the film, and he delivers an amazing performance, but perhaps he went a little too far for the character. In an interview, he said that there was one scene in the film that pushed him to the limit and actually made him pass out 8 times during filming. In the clip, Dwayne is seen chained to the floor as he's trying to break free. He told sources that he specifically requested that they use real chains in real cement for the shot, so he really couldn't break free. He then goes on to try and escape, yelling with frustration and building adrenaline with every take. Dwayne went on to say that this buildup of adrenaline caused him to black out every time. It looks great in the shot, but he may have pushed himself too much there. At number 7, Kesha. When you have a dream, you'll do anything to make it come true. And for some, that includes breaking and entering. As a struggling musician before finding her big break, singer Kesha actually tried breaking into someone's house in order to leave a demo of herself singing for them to hear. But she didn't just break into any old house. Oh no. She broke into Prince's house. She told the story about her break-in on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where she said that she got to the house, paid off the gardener and walked into the house because the door was unlocked. She got to the elevator, and after getting off the top floor, she saw Prince playing his guitar. He saw her there and asked who she was, and obviously she freaked out since she got caught. She put her CD down and ran out of the house. Though he never called her about the CD, she still ended up making it big in the industry, but it was still a very, very risky move. At number 6, Jamie Foxx. In the 2004 film Ray, the story of the musician Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx took things to the next level to really become Ray. To get into the role, Jamie had to first make some sacrifices. First, he sacrificed his health. He went on a crash diet in order to lose 30 pounds for the film. Then came the most difficult sacrifice: his vision. In order to truly embody Ray Charles, Jamie was asked to have his eyes glued shut, taking away his vision and giving him opaque glasses for the role. On top of that, they made prosthetics for him to create Ray's damaged eyelids. Afterwards, Jamie said that this experience was most damaging to him mentally, saying that he experienced panic attacks and claustrophobia, and said, quote, "Imagine having your eyes glued shut for 14 hours a day. That's your jail sentence. For a role to affect you so much, both physically and mentally, must be hard, so maybe he pushed himself too far for this film." At number 5, Jamie Dornan. You may know Jamie Dornan for his role as Christian Grey in the 50 Shades films, but he also made a name for himself in the series The Fall. In the show, he played the role of Paul Spector, a serial killer, and in order to get into character, Jamie got a little creepy. He wanted to get into the mind of the character he was playing, so he took to the London Underground to stalk people. Jamie revealed that he once stalked a woman, following her around a number of street corners before realizing that he was being super creepy. On the topic of stalking, Jamie said, quote, "It felt kind of exciting in a really dirty sort of way. I'm sort of not proud of myself, but I do honestly think that I learned something from it because obviously I'd never done anything like that. It was intriguing and interesting to enter that process of what are you following her for and what are you really trying to find out." Though he really got into character, I think he may have gone a little too far with this stalking thing because it's just so creepy. As a woman, I know the risk of walking around alone, especially at night, so having someone follow you like that, even if they don't have the intention of doing anything to you, is really unsettling. At number 4, Shia Labeouf. Shia Labeouf is no stranger when it comes to method acting. When he's cast for something, he gives his whole self, body, and soul into the role. In the past, like in the film The Necessary Death of Charlie Countryman, he's done and put himself into dangerous situations, but what he did to prepare for his role in the film Fury definitely takes the cake. Shia spoke out about what he did to get into character for the film, and he said, quote, "The day after I got the job, I joined the US National Guard. I was baptized, accepted Christ into my heart, tattooed my surrender, and became a chaplain's assistant to Captain Yates for the 41st Infantry. I spent a month living on a forward operating base. Then I linked up with my cast and went to Fort Arwin. I pulled my tooth out, knifed my face up, and spent days watching horses die. I didn't bathe for 4 months." Cast members told sources that Shia kept opening up his wounds so they always looked authentic, and that very little makeup was used to create his wounds. After hearing what he did to get into character, Shia definitely went too far on this one. At number 3, Scarlett Johansson. Whenever you're thinking about giving someone a thoughtful and personal gift, whatever you do not do what Scarlett Johansson did. The actress took things too far with one of the gifts that she gave to her ex-husband, Ryan Reynolds. Back in 2007, it was reported that Scarlett Johansson gave Ryan Reynolds a tooth. Her tooth, to be exact. The report claimed that Scarlett had recently gotten wisdom tooth surgery, and after getting one of the teeth removed, she decided to keep it, have it dipped in gold, and have it strung on a chain to then give to Ryan for his birthday. It's weird, and it's going a little too far, definitely. At number 2, Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway played Fantine in the 2012 film Les Miserables, the movie adaptation for the famous musical. The character she played was of a dying French who gave everything to save her daughter. As this was such a desolate character, Anne really got into it. For the role, she put herself on a quote, near starvation diet so she could lose 25 pounds in just a few weeks. She also cut her hair on camera, chopping off most of her hair, and even isolated herself from her husband in order to get more depressed because she said that he gave her too much happiness and hope for her to really sink deeper into the role. This was all extreme stuff, but it's even crazier to think that she did all of this while her character is only featured in the first 30 minutes of the 2-hour and 40-minute film. She got massive praise for her portrayal of the character, but it definitely pushed her to the limit. And finally, at number 1, Leonardo Dicaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is an amazing actor. We've known this for years. For a long time, there was a running gag that he's gone so long without winning an Oscar, though he crushes it in every production that he's in. Well, that dry spell came to an end after he won the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2016 for his role in the movie The Revenant. Leo endured so much to play this character, including eating raw bison liver and other raw foods, going in and out of frozen rivers, enduring hypothermia, and even sleeping in animal carcasses. Mind you, Leo is a vegan and is an animal rights activist, so for him to eat raw meat and sleep inside of dead animals, that must have definitely taken a toll on him mentally. He went to great lengths to bring his character to life and make it realistic, and it won him his first Oscar, so yeah, he probably went too far, but I guess in the end it was worth it.
Starting off our list, number 10 is the time he made a plane crash skit. Back in 2019, he had to mark one of his vlogs to private after receiving tons of backlash for content that just came across as insensitive. He titled the video, "Airplane Seat Was Not Attached Properly." The skit features his friends falling out of airplane seats and a fellow YouTuber, Jason Nash, pretending to be the pilot, yelling that the plane is going down. The video came out on September 10th, which was right before the 18th anniversary of the tragic plane crash. People started attacking him online, calling him tone deaf and insensitive, which is why he decided to make it private in the end. Up next, number 9 is he offered to do an Olivia Jade update. There is a time and place for everything, and I think people were upset with him about the timing of this one. If you don't know who Olivia Jade is, she is one of Lori Laughlin's daughters who was caught in that big college admissions scandal. Her parents basically paid for their marks to be altered so that they could ensure that they got into prestigious universities. Must be nice. People were livid about the whole thing, and her parents actually got charged and pleaded guilty and got time behind bars. That's crazy. But in the wake of the scandal, David spoke about it since he is friends with Olivia and almost pitied her by saying she's probably holding up okay. He even admitted that he was going to do an update video with her and asked people to support his decision, but people just didn't think that it was right. Like, personally, I was so mad at this whole scandal. Like, do you know how much money I pay for my loan, let alone just sneaking into universities? Like, we all have to apply. Sliding into number 8 is the YouTube Rewind video in 2018. Every year, YouTube does this epic video where they take some of the best moments on the platform from the previous year and combine it into one video. YouTubers and fans both look forward to it every year, but for some reason, David didn't want to be a part of it back in 2018. We can't fully blame him, seeing as it was a massive flop and received over 15 million dislikes. But he was a little harsh with his criticism and bashed the people who decided to be a part of it. He bluntly called the video not good and said that they tried too hard with the big set and flashy celebrity names. So he went and created his own YouTube Rewind video and posted it on his channel on January 1st, 2019, almost to like compete with them and just show them up, you know? Like, here's my version of the YouTube Rewind video. Like, I didn't even know we were allowed to do that. Cruising to the number 7 spot is the Logan Paul feud. You might have seen the lie detector test segment that Vanity Fair does when they have a celebrity guest on their show. Well, David did the segment and was asked a variety of questions which he was nervous to answer at first. But one of the questions he was asked did not make him nervous at all, and he was actually very quick and confident to answer. He was asked if there were any YouTubers that he thought were a sellout and was given a photo of Logan Paul and asked if he was one of them. David responded quickly and said, yes, major sellout. People weren't happy because they pointed out that they're all on the same platform, like doing the same kind of stuff, so there's no reason to be putting other creators down. And at number 6 is the Vlog Squad drama. David is just one of the members from the vlogging group, but he received most of the heat for this controversy. He's been close friends with another member, Jason Nash, who was dating fellow YouTuber Trisha Paytas. So for a long time, David obviously respected Trisha because Jason was a good friend. But when Trisha and Jason split, David posted a video where he joked with Jason about having sex with other women. They kept making jokes about him having a threesome with Tana Mojo and Trisha actually said in her video that one time Jason tried to actually kiss Tana during one of their vlogs together. David did end up deleting the videos that made her upset, but people have claimed that he did all of that like to stir the pot and get the clout on the videos. Halfway through the countdown, number 5 is scripted vlogs. The biggest debate in the the vlogging world is if the videos are scripted or not. David has always claimed that his videos are unscripted live vlogs, that he basically just like improvs and it's like completely natural behavior. But then people started to call him out saying that most of his stuff is scripted now, unlike the beginning of his career. They said that he might script them as a technique to make them different from all the rest. If you followed his channel for a while now, you would know that a lot of his vlogs and style of videos are pretty much the same, so things might get boring for some people. But if he scripts them, it's not truly a vlog at that point. It just seems to lose that real connection that his original vlogging once had. People just want him to basically admit, like, I'm scripting these, if he is. Moving on to number 4, we have the adpocalypse. YouTubers took a big hit during what people called an adpocalypse, when advertisers pulled their sponsorships from the platform. David was one of the YouTubers heavily affected by it, and he opened up to Men's Health about it, saying he was making over $275,000 a month and it dropped to under $2,000. But the reason for it is kind of his fault, and people were a bit annoyed that he was even getting away with it and making $275,000. His videos used a lot of copyrighted songs and the content was more inappropriate than others, so he took a huge hit. Now, working for YouTube, I know how difficult it is to work your way around copyright claims. Like, it's not easy, so I don't even know how he's like able to get away with it. Like, obviously because of who he is and his name, but we all have to follow the copyright policies. In the 3rd spot is the breakup jokes about Liza. Hearts were broken when David posted a video titled "We Broke Up," where he and ex-girlfriend Liza Koshy talked about why they were no longer together. The whole video was really raw and emotional, and they basically just said that they are better off as friends. But Liza was a hot mess throughout the video. The girl could not stop crying and it was literally so sad. But not long after the breakup video, David started making jokes in his vlogs about Liza and the breakup. People just thought it was disrespectful, seeing as she wasn't cracking jokes about it in her videos or doing anything for extra views. Fans loved them together, and after dating for 3 years, people just didn't expect him to make jokes like that with his friends in his vlogs. Taking over the number 2 spot is Donald Trump comments. I think giving your opinion about President Donald Trump is always a risk because everyone feels so strongly about it, even good or bad. During a 2019 episode of his Views podcast, he started a war on social media after admitting that he has friends who support Donald Trump. He said that having pro-Trump friends never bothers him and that he hates when people get mad at stuff like that. He even told people to chill, which set the Twitter universe in attack mode. People started calling him white privilege despite the fact that he's actually an immigrant. But they thought it was hypocritical because he is a recipient of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and Trump is not helping his people by any means. He's actually trying to like tear them down. So people were basically calling him an uncultured immigrant is what people were saying. Earning number 1 spot is the Japanese candy videos. David and his ex-girlfriend that I mentioned, Liza Koshy, are both under some fire right now after an old video resurfaced. In the video, they try different Japanese candy, which they call foreign candy, and when trying it, they actually imitate speaking Japanese like as a joke. A TikTok user shared the video and said, "A clear example of the normalized racism against Asians."
Kind of chewy. First we're starting off with No! It's not racist, that's like the sounds I hear when they talk.
No, it's not racist as long as I keep saying no.
Oh, okay.
The video was posted back in 2016, but people are demanding for an apology now with everything that is going on in our world right now. Liza has issued a public apology and she has taken full responsibility for it, but at the time of this recording, we have not heard from David yet. So will he apologize? Will he even acknowledge it? Pretend it didn't happen? Delete the videos? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and find out.